Good morning and welcome to the Magic Interesting day today. Yesterday was a busy day actually, and kind of a bit of a scary day because I spent about $5,000. That was on business stuff, setting up a business visa, work permit, residency cards. I guess anything to do with business in any country automatically makes it more expensive. However, I guess one definition of a businessman is someone that owns a business, and so just registering the business means that I own a business, which means I am a businessman, which is, I guess, exciting and sort of scary all at the same time, which is, I guess, what following your dreams is all about, isn't it? Exciting and scary. And that's the other thing, like, it's everything, when they say, you have to be brave to follow your dreams. It's like, I'm actually putting every single thing that I own into this, like, and then, so is that scary? Is that the idea of what people think is of scary? Giving it everything that you have, all my assets, and perhaps it is. But then I guess one of those comforting things is that you start with nothing, and then if you're left with nothing, you haven't, really lost anything. Like you say, we're only really borrowing stuff from the universe, including time. So, yeah. I know one thing, and that is that, if you don't follow your dreams, do what you believe you should be doing, then you might live with regret, and that's the important thing. When I spoke to my parents, they said, and I told them I was quitting teaching and starting a magic forest, going and build a magic forest and fill it full of fairies. My mother was like, it sounds a bit schizoid. It's like, thanks, mother. Always the word of encouragement that I'm looking for. But my father was like, well, you only ever regret the things that you don't do in life. And so I think that was, again, one of those things that my father says that actually kind of makes you think, oh yeah, that's it. And so it's got to be done. A magic forest needs to be built, and that's going to happen. And I think with everything, with following your dreams in general, I realise that actually, the way that you get there is by pointing every single thing in that direction. And if it's not pointing in that direction of the magic forest, then that, it's not worth doing, or you've got to focus on something else. And so, yeah. When people say manifest, the idea of manifesting someone, I was like, what does that mean? Do you mean you just kind of wish for it lots and lots and lots? Ask the universe. But actually, I think that's what it does mean. It means manifest. Manifest means to create. And so it is about pointing everything in the direction of the destination of which you wish to end up. And so that is it. We're gonna be there. Anyway, what's going on in Magic Forest today? Lots and lots. Went to see the Mould Man yesterday, and so I don't know if you've met Freya before, but she is an absolute darling. And let me just take you off there. Freya. But we picked her up from the Mould Man yesterday, and she's looking very sorry for herself. She's got cracked legs. She looks so poor. Cracked arm. She's got a cracked finger. Actually, I put little wire rods inside the finger, so that's a good example of why you might need a wire rod. She's still a darling though. And I guess it is the cost of giving birth, because she has given birth to 6 children. And they look great, actually. The moulds have come out really nicely. There's obviously a lot of work to do. I need to then go and kind of sand them all down, cut them off their plinths. You get these little marks and bubbles that you need to fill in, and so there's always a lot of work to do. But I think it's something, that I've struggled with, of what, the value of, mass producing, and what, people are like, we want the original, that the original has some sort of higher value than something that's created from the original. But I've dealt with that. I've dealt with it, and actually the original is Freya, and she is not as strong as I need my fairies to be for them to live outside and be tough. Yeah, 'cause she's got a broken foot there. And so almost like when people are making a bronze sculpture, they make it out of wax or clay, traditionally. And so that first clay sculpture that's then turned into a bronze sculpture is merely the blueprint. It's creating the thing itself, the space inside the mold, which has the value. So it's almost like the negative space of the mold is where the value is at. But when people buy prints, in printmaking, it's not the value of the plate, it's the value of the print. And so, I think, obviously then, I've said before, once you then smooth all these down and make them nice, it still takes about, probably about 4 hours. She's got toes that need to be fixed. In fact, remade there. Some bits of, it takes about 3 hours just to prepare it, to make it nice. And then actually the prepared one becomes, it's stronger, it's smoother. It's like, you've added bits, you've remolded bits, you've reshaped bits, and so it's actually a better product, a better, stronger product. And so poor little Freya looking. So I'm going to fix all this. If you remember, I showed you Shofra a few weeks ago and showed you her kind of broken neck. But I fixed all her neck, and her ear had broken off. And so she's kind of been repainted and remodeled. She is the original, she's a mother. And so she's all been repaired. And you can keep on repairing them. But obviously, they need to be outdoors. And so the epoxy is much better. And there's also that question of plastic, and I'm making these kind of epoxy resin creatures, which is essentially plastic, but then I want them to last forever. Like, well, you shouldn't make plastic because it lasts forever. And then it's like, yeah, but I kind of want it to last forever. We're a big fan of that show, The Repair Shop, where they're fixing old treasures. And now, vintage things have started to become like plastic cameras and Bakelite, the original plastics. And now they're trying to repair them and trying to bring them back to their former glory. And it's like, well, actually, if you make something that's indestructible, then it doesn't need to be repaired back to its former glory. Also, if you like metaphor, Freya is the mother. And she, has kind of paid the price of motherhood, of giving birth. We've got 6. You get 6 good clones out of one mould, and then the mould starts to deteriorate. So you know, she has paid the price of motherhood. But then, like I say, if you like motherhood metaphors, which we all do, the actual model that I used is a beautiful friend of mine, and she had given birth just 6 months previously, and so you can see that kind of history of having given birth within her body. Although I would say she's got a fantastic body for somebody who had recently given birth. And we wanted fairies to have that kind of human element, to not be that kind of perfect in that you know is not human, but to actually for humans to have that connection with them, in order to be able to relate to them, you know. And so fairies are going to have, you know, that realism, that those kind of love handles, or those postnatal what would you call evidence of a life, and so people can have that more human connection with them. But she is a muddle mother, and she needs fixing now because she looks so bored, and so I'm going to spend a bit of time on her, fix her up, make her look like the stunning, lovely Faya that we knew and love. Okay. Oh, and this new little girl is coming along. She's got quite a nice little smile. That's half the battle doing the face. I mean, it's so tiny and so detailed, that it's half the battle of doing the whole thing, just getting the face right and getting the character right as well. And then she's got that cute little smile, and she's certainly got, so I'm going to fix the ears next, so I've drawn out where the ears should be, on either side. But once the kind of the character sort of suddenly emerges, and you're like, yay, and then you can move on. But also she's got a bit of a Brian Froudy element to her as well, which is, you know, he's my actual hero, so I quite like that. And so I'm going to do some work on her today. Do some work on these girls, and then see how we get on. But that's it from today in the Magic Forest. It stopped raining outside, so I had a nice walk on the beach this morning. But I love you lots, and I shall see you in the